Ling Qing had always believed that the mountains hold secrets, that they whisper stories to those who dare to listen. Living there, in this secluded place with his wife, he had come to know the rhythm of the land, the way the sheep graze in the meadow, the way the seasons change with a gentle grace. His wife, she's the heart of their little world, tending the sheep, her laughter echoing in the valleys, her hands weaving wool into warmth. Every year, Ling Qing ventures deeper into these mountains, searching for Codenopsis root, a treasure hidden beneath the earth, a fortune waiting to be unearthed. This year, the summer monsoon had drenched the land, but the forecast promised clear skies, and he felt a pull, an urgency to seize the moment. Ling Qing called my cousin, Wang Che, and they made plans, but fate has a way of throwing them curveballs. His cousin's truck broke down, and there he was, picking his cousin up on his electric tutu rickshaw, the two of them laughing at the absurdity of it all. The dirt trail was bumpy, and they bounced along, the mountains looming ahead, a promise of adventure. After a few miles, the trail turned rugged, and they decided to hike the rest of the way. 3 hours of scouring the mountains, his heart racing with anticipation, but they found nothing. The Codenopsis root eluded them, slipping through their fingers like sand. The next day, Wang Che had errands to run, and Ling Qing found himself alone, the mountains calling to him, whispering secrets only he could hear. He rode my rickshaw, the hum of the motor a comforting sound, but as the trail grew rougher, he parked and began his trek on foot. Hours passed, and he delved deeper into the wilderness, the wild berries his only sustenance. He felt the weight of solitude, the quietness pressing in around him, but he pressed on, driven by the hope of discovery. The dirt trail Ling Qing was walking on had turned into rugged terrain. Although it would be easy to get lost in uncharted territory, Ling Qing was obstinate enough to do it alone. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, the clouds rolled in, casting shadows over the valley. Ling Qing became disoriented, the landscape shifting around him, no marked trails to guide his way. Panic began to creep in, but he tried to backtrack, retracing his steps. The sun set, and darkness enveloped him. His phone was useless, no signal to call for help in the wilderness. He climbed a small hill, the flashlight from his phone illuminating nothing but the vastness of the mountains surrounding him. He was lost, truly lost, and the weight of that realization pressed down on his chest. Hours passed, and he stumbled upon a small grave near a dried-up riverbed. Under the illumination of a bright moon, he saw a small, damaged gravestone. Half of the gravestone lying flat on the ground, around the grave was overgrown with weeds. Seeing a solitary grave in the middle of nowhere, a chill ran down his spine as he walked past it, the air heavy with an unshakable sense of dread. Then he saw movement, a flicker of something behind the trees. His heart raced, and he shone his flashlight in that direction, only to catch a glimpse of a glossy teal dress flitting through the shadows. Fear gripped him, and he started running, his breath coming in ragged gasps. His phone fell out from the pocket while he was running, now lost in the wilderness. Ling Qing ran blindly, the moon casting an eerie glow over the landscape. He stopped to catch his breath, but then he heard it, a woman's weeping, a soft, mournful sound that sent chills down his spine. He dared not look back, his body frozen in terror. And then he felt it, a hand resting on his shoulder, nails digging into his skin. Ling Qing tried to yank it away, but it wouldn't budge. A sinister laughter echoed through the valley, an eerie female voice that chilled him to his core spoke. "Cheater, this is your fate. You deserve to die. I have waited for you for so long." Adrenaline surged through him, and he ran again, but something lifted him into the air, throwing him back to the ground. Pain shot through his elbows and back as he hit the earth. He scrambled to his feet, touching his elbow, feeling the laceration, but he couldn't stop. He had to keep moving. He saw something zipping past him, a blur in the darkness, but he didn't dare to look. He ran, the laughter echoing behind him, a haunting melody that chased him through the night. Then, out of nowhere, a bright orb appeared, illuminating the path ahead. An old man's voice, soothing and calm, beckoned Ling Qing to follow. He claimed to be the deity of the land, here to guide him to safety. Hesitation gripped Ling Qing, but he remembered the tales of the land's protectors, the spirits that watched over inhabitants. He followed the orb, the laughter fading into the distance, the darkness lifting as he moved forward. The deity led Ling Qing to a small clearing, urging him to rest. He closed his eyes, exhaustion washing over him, and he fell into a deep sleep. In his dreams he saw her, a girl in love before she got killed, her heart pure and hopeful. But her story twisted into tragedy, a tale of betrayal and violence. The man she loved, a philandering man, drowned her in the river when she refused to have premarital sex with him. The horror of her death bound her spirit to the land, turning her into a malevolent force, haunting the very place where her life was stolen. Then Ling Qing awoke to the sound of voices calling his name. He blinked into the light, his wife, his cousin, and police officers surrounding him, relief washing over their faces. Ling Qing was emaciated but alive, lying near a patch of Codonopsis roots on the trail, the very treasure he sought. They had searched for 4 days, the authorities involved, but here he was, returned from the depths of the mountains. His wife told him they had walked past this part of the trail twice in the last 2 days, but they didn't find him. Ling Qing had no prior recollection of how he ended up on the trail either. He only remembered the deity of the land had guided him to a clearing where he fell asleep. After that, he didn't know what had happened subsequently. As Ling Qing recounted his harrowing experience, his wife listened intently, her eyes wide with concern. She reminded him of the time he had been gone, the fear that had gripped her heart. He spoke of the spirit, the girl who had never found peace, and the darkness that had chased him through the night. The mountains held their secrets, and Ling Qing had brushed against one of them, a reminder of the fragility of life, the weight of choices made, and the haunting echoes of the past that linger in the shadows.